Flying Kaizo Race, level by NateF. Apparently I've played this once before. A million years ago. Welcome to week 53. That's almost a year. Wait, we did that joke already. I guess they did, huh? Alright, the backup. We'll see if I remember playing the level. This is what this has been about. Oh, nuts. Nuts. I think we're just gonna go for it. Look at that, worked. Is this familiar? I decide if this is familiar or not. I don't know if no, I definitely didn't race this. Gotta think about that. Getting a slideshow? Can anyone chat confirm? Or just you? I mean, I see the live version and it looks fine. I would say refresh the page. Twitch is programmed by iguanas. It's pretty standard. But yeah, apparently I beat this at some point. I just don't remember it, which doesn't surprise me much. Probably did this several years ago. And just didn't remember it. I doubt I raced it. I wasn't racing much. Week 52 is definitely before... I don't know if I discovered Romhack races by then. I gotta actually look up and figure out when I finally, learned about Romhack races. I don't actually remember. Arg. Oh, yes! All the blind reads all come together at just the same time. And suddenly we're not underground anymore. Gives you the most unpleasant PMD vibes. PMD? Oh, goodness. Suddenly we shallin'. Alright, well this is gonna be tricky. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? Ah. It might be Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, I don't know. Let's see Toho Mystery Dungeon at GDQ. Did see Pokemon Mystery Dungeon at PAX. No, not Toho Mystery Dungeon. Toho Mystery Dungeon. Did not want to nudge that. I want to use it to jump over that. I mean, I already own the first game. I've played it on stream all of once 2 years ago, I think. Thanks. I'm certain I will. Ugh. But yeah, no, I own the first one. Second one looks fine. You play as Reimu. And stuff happens. Because there's always something happening in Genshoko. Or whatever the place is called. Gensoko? There's always an incident that's happening. But yeah, the problem I had with that particular game was, it's all voice acted in Japanese. So I don't want to talk over the Japanese, but I also can't read the Japanese and talk and read chat at the same time. So it just didn't actually work all that well. So, it was fun, but it was definitely a 9. Or September 9th kind of thing. There's a reason why it's in the, I guess not, probably not, category of continuing thing. Still waiting for another Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? I mean, I assume those guys are working on something, right? You need to do something better there. I mean, decades? I thought that the, Mudkip one came out in 2008 or something. Week 53, even when was that race? I do not know. Apparently I've played this before and beaten it, based upon the cart. It's also possible the name was colliding with a different thing, and so I didn't notice. How you doing, Milgrips? I would assume it was 52 weeks after the first Romhack race, if I had to make a guess. But I can't prove it. That was dumb. Want new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, not a remake of the old? Yeah, fair. It's incredibly brilliant, isn't it? It's not falsifiable. That's the key to the whole thing. Super came out in 15. Yeah, I guess it has been almost a decade then. Kind of surprised. I kind of felt like that was just like... There's some Japanese dudes who that's their thing. They just make Mystery Dungeon games. Like, I really thought that was just like there's a group in Japan who does it. Kind of like the Path of Exile guys who were on the Diablo 2 team back in the day, I guess. They're just like, that's their calling in life. They will make these types of games. Took a break for GDQ Christmas for several years. Oh yeah, that's true. They could have taken a break for GDQ. I think it would have been less likely back then. Fuzzy. Because they weren't likely to have something coming into GDQ, but I guess probably people were just like playing Dram or something. 5 years of DX came out, they put the original release on Switch. Online, ow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they have the actual dates on some of these. Like, you could use the VOD to figure out when it was, if the VOD is available. I know some of the really early ones aren't, but I feel like 53 is by the point where they figured out, like, oh yeah, people are going to want to look at these after the fact. I don't know how I managed to do that shell jump the first time. Back in the old time, we raced despite GDQ gone. Maybe you wouldn't know. I mean, and sometimes it happened. Just like Glitchcat wouldn't be around, and the race director, formerly known as Dr. No, would take care of comms. Jamie had a level during one of those instances, which was a really cool level. I don't think I've ever actually played it on stream, though. He gave me a screenshot and asked, "Can you figure out any cheese here?" And I pointed out that you could just fly past it. Yes, BD. It's one of those things like the name, I don't want to be mean, but it's not. It's a name that has an awful lot of conflicts with other things. And I'm not certain too many people have noticed the change. So I'm sticking with that for the time being. As far as I know, BD has said that referring to them as Dr. No is still fine, but... because I think I read that somewhere. No, I need to keep up that... I need to grab that shell and push it towards the wall before I actually go into it, don't I? Yeah, that's what I need to do. But yeah, short names like that are often easy to miss with other things. One name we have is a short down for backdoor, which has an awful applications. Yeah, that's one of the things. That's one of the many things BD can stand for. If we asked Desi what it stood for, he would give some other examples. So... it's an interesting choice. That's as much as I'm saying. Oh, wait, why did I fall off of it? Saying about that. Of course, I used to have one of those. Did I ever have one of those names that had like a bunch of X's in it? I guess not. I won't deny my initial, like, internet handle was not very good. But... alright. You go a little bit faster there. Some of the examples correlate with the backdoor meeting in some cases. Another note. Talk about Bethesda Game Studios. Yeah, they sure exist, don't they? They love making Skyrim. You know what's great? Skyrim. You know what's a good game? Skyrim. Man, I sure love Skyrim. Maybe one day they'll make another game, but for the time being, Skyrim. Yeah, I finally got that part down, I think. Whee! Midway! Oh, cape. Shoot. What am I supposed to do here? Was like shell jump for the cape? Or just get the cape? You know, I think I probably want to shell jump into the cape. That's my theory, and I'm sticking with it. There might be a way to do something weird and cheesy, but honestly, it's just better to go with what appears to be the flow. And I'm not good at shell jumping with cape. At least this whole thing is very resettable. Edie said they changed names because of the mishandling of her pronouns and... Yes, I think that that's okay. I went with they just to be sure. So I remember seeing they at some point. But yes, I think that what it means is either of those options is fine. Did not expect the fuzzy. I am not an expert in these things. Do not quote me. But that is my understanding. I can definitely see how Dr. No implies a very male persona based upon the fact that, you know, it's a Bond villain. Went by they for a long time. Went he before that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, no, it definitely is a, oh, it's a reference to this. It's probably that sort of thing. And whoops. Dang it. I do like just dock flat. That's a much simpler way of going about it. But it is their choice. And whoop. Oh, how'd I whip through it? The cape did not want to come with me. Oh. When in doubt, use name. Yes, that is a good way to go. It does make you sound a bit nutty if you use the name repeatedly over and over. You ever watch the pilot of Rick and Morty? The part where he keeps calling Morty by name makes him sound kind of nutsy. But it is a better way to go in a lot of circumstances. But Rick and Morty is also Rick and Morty, so, you know, who cares? Alright, what's going on now? Not that. You've learned something. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do after beating these is look up, like, what my time would have been if I was racing. And there was one where I was, like, legitimately surprised. Like, I actually did really well. And this was recently. It was, like, week 8 or something. And despite the fact that, you know, I'm reading chat and complaining about leaves falling, I still had a very respectable, like, time that would have put me in, like, 4th place or something. Which, let's be honest, is never going to happen otherwise. Have the How I Met Your Mother episode in your head. He, she, Jenkins, he. I've never actually watched a single episode of that. I'm just not a sitcom kind of guy. Or really watching any kind of TV show kind of guy. Fistbit keeps trying to get me to watch Babylon 5. That's probably the extent of it. If I'm sick, I'll probably watch Parks and Rec again. But that's the extent of... Oh, I need to stand further left. Extent of how I feel about watching TV in general. I like watch anime or something, but I don't. I'll occasionally watch an anime while doing the dishes, and usually it's one I've already seen. Like, I've been watching Konosuba while doing the dishes. I've already seen Konosuba. I know how it goes. For a Trekkie, I've seen enough Trek in my life, and the new Trek isn't very good. And by new Trek, I mean anything past TNG, to be honest. Maybe Deep Space Nine is good, I don't know. Voyager is dumb. I refuse to watch anything whose basic premise is lost in space. Nickelodeon did it better with Space Cases than Trek did with Voyager, and that's just embarrassing. Oh. Oh, it's a lost obstacle, okay. DS9 warrants a watch. I suppose. People have a lot of good opinions, have a lot of good feelings about it. I just kind of missed the boat on it. My dad was not a fan, and he was the major cause for us to watch Star Trek. He thought DS9 was a soap opera in space, and therefore we didn't watch it, because he's our dad, and we watched Star Trek with our dad. Like, TNG always came on hella late at night. Like, 10 p.m., 9 p.m., and I was like a... 6 or 7-year-old kid. Like, kind of have to acknowledge at some point someone has to watch DS9 and we aren't willing. Voyager has... I just don't like the concept of Voyager. Like, I just cannot stand... Oh no, we're lost in some space area. Oh, and that thing that we did that should get us back, oh, we can't use that because of some reason. Like, if I want to watch that, I'm going to watch Samurai Jack, because Samurai Jack is at least fun. Like, Samurai Jack has the same basic premise, but it's more fun than Voyager is. The best part of Voyager is, like, the dock. The automatic, like, hologram dock. And he has his best bit in First Contact anyway. So, it's not a big loss. Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be good? I don't know. I've heard good things, but it's a parody anyway. Coincidence, these episodes generally involve Voyager crew suffering, years in hell? Yes. Well, yeah, Samurai Jack's actually good. Like, the dude directing that and making it knew exactly what he was doing, and despite the fact that it has the same basic premise as Lost in Space, it's still better. I didn't watch the new ones. I think I watched like half of one of the new episodes of Samurai Jack and then, you know, got distracted and did other things. I like reading more than watching, so... I need to actually pick up an actual proper book sometime in the near future. I've been very lazy about that. I've been reading various other things that are not books. What's up, Hawaluta? How you doing? Last season Samurai Jack is good? Oh, it's good to hear. I'd check about The Martian in particular, because the XKCD about it. Oh, I love The Martian. I read the original back when it was a web series. Have to say, his original works are pretty funny. Looking at them now that he's, you know, an acclaimed, multi-million selling, best-selling, top book author type guy. Yeah, Andy Weir's Casey and Andy comics still remains pretty funny. Just slept over 16 hours? Nice. Tarkovsky's a legend? Indeed. Yeah, I like the original, like, ending, which they had to get rid of because it didn't film well, where, I forget his name. Whatever his name is, the Martian, is sitting around enjoying a slice of pizza on a beautiful day, and this kid comes up to talk to him, and his mom's like, oh, leave the nice man alone. And he's like, nah, it's okay, I can talk to a kid about space, I love space. And the kid asks him some questions about Mars, and finally he asks, if they asked you to go back, would you do it again? And he's like, not on your fucking life, kid. And that's where the book ends. His mom drags him away. To be fair, I think The Martian is It's probably his best book. Like, I enjoyed Project Hail Mary. Like, for what it was. I kind of think it would have been better off as a point-and-click adventure game in a lot of ways. But, you know, those aren't popular anymore, so they don't make those. And the Moon one, Artemis. Artemis wasn't very good. It had good parts, but the main character was very unlikable. And was written in sort of a way that it's exactly who you expect. Basically, there exists, like, a trope of character who's this, like, female badass. But in real life, if she wasn't exceedingly hot, no one would be willing to put up with her shit. And that's exactly who that character was. And in fact, there's a point in the book where she does get dressed down by someone's like, look, you have made a horrendous mess, and now you are being a dick to everybody who is helping you fix it. Stop it. Nuts. So. And to be fair, she did make a tremendous mess of everything, and, you know, the people who are putting their necks on the lines to help her, she's still being dicks to them, so, you know, he's not wrong. It's a fun book. But Hail Mary is better, and so is The Martian. So I'd recommend those. I would not recommend necessarily reading Casey and Andy, though. It's a very webcomic. It's relatively short, though. It only has 666 episodes, issues, comics. And most of them involve one of the two dying, so it's got that going for it. Also an exceedingly large catalog of characters, including a Nazi whale and the King of Norway. They made a song enumerating them at one point, which I had at least partially committed to memory. Iron Man is a woman? Yeah, kind of like that. Except the difference is, like, Iron Man was hyper-competent, and this woman was not. She repeatedly made things worse. Like, that's a big part of the book, is how she ends up fucking things up. Like, I don't want to spoil too much. It's still a pretty decent read. You could do worse with your time. But it's not my favorite of the Andy Weir books, and I cannot believe I chucked that. Looking forward to when he writes another book about someone being competent in space, because that's his deal. He also wrote a comic called Cheshire Crossing, which is why I initially learned about him, which is basically sort of a big-ass crossover between Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, and... what was the other one? That doesn't matter. Beat the level. What was it? It's gonna bug me. I mean, Mary Poppins was there too, but that doesn't matter. Well, anyway, I beat the level. That counts. Let's look at the credits. Testers, Atari 2.0, Osu Mario Cut Man, Sequel Infection, Algae 5, and Logic, possibly electronic. And Yoshi. Yoshi was there too. It's a bit of a running gag in Casey and Andy, the comic. Is that Bob was there too, because one of the two had written a book, and there weren't enough characters, and so he decided that he'd add Bob. Bob was just there too. That was his ability, just being there too. Once again, a very odd webcomic. Thanks to the GGs. This is a really nice overworld too, like, look at it. Like, I would totally play a hack that was made in this style. I love the big blue bubbles as levels. Like, those are really nice. I feel like other hacks might have used this particular overworld styling, but I can't name any off the top of my head.